Well, there's nothing wrong. Okay. Eyes on me. That was said. Eyes on me. Thank you. As we go ahead and get back on into CKLA, you guys, a couple of things that lots of you guys have noticed. About lots of things that you have noticed. On Friday, lots of you guys already started to think about this poster because many of you guys were asking if I drew it myself. No, I did not, but as we get into our lesson for today, right, we're going to be doing a couple of different things that are going to lean a lot on our good friend Toad. Before we go ahead and get on in, right, I need a friend to go ahead and read out our lesson name. Help me out, Natalie. We have Toad's Adventure. Take a look at our beginning picture. Right? We have our image from Aladdin. We have our image of Toad and somebody else. Go ahead, try and talk to a neighbor. What do you think might be happening in this chapter of Toad's Adventure? For my friends with the accents, go ahead and scoot over. Natalie, you should be talking. Omar, maybe 3. What can you see? What can you tell? What are you guys thinking? I'll give you another 30 seconds. Now, I've got Toad. Not sure if I've ever seen Toad in something that looks like that before. I'm also seeing a lot of different items. I'm not quite sure what's in that big bucket. But what do you guys think? What do you think might be happening for Toad's Adventure just based on the first image that they gave us? Go ahead, start us off, Jonathan. Ah. Why? What makes you think that? Ah, so we've already got new characters we haven't seen before. We know that they're going to get close to Toad. Keep me going, Emily.
Inside the bucket, I think it's a gun. I think I do rinse off your these dishes and sack when you're camping.
Ah, so maybe this thing that's inside the little buckets used to clean stuff and only says dishes. Like when you go camping, you kind of put them in the water, right? Go ahead, tell me more, Nancy. Everyone, ding, 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 you got it.
Ding, 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 you got it.
Right, this is called a washboard.
I know.
They do have similar ones for dishes as well, but they usually have a different material. This is like a wood or a metal or a plastic, and you rub clothes on it to try and get stains out of it. Ah, some people do use them as an instrument, kind of like a banjo sounding thing. I can't remember what the name quite is, but you are also all right about that too there. Remember, keep those hands up. Go ahead, Kat. Maybe he's finally working. You know, he makes a lot of money, right? He's got this new friend. Maybe he's working and his job is to wash clothes. Go ahead, Natalie. what each other believe, but some things that we think might be different as well. Maddie Sawyer, my last one before we keep going. What makes you think that they're friends? Yeah, right, she's over here. She doesn't look very angry. She has that soft face. She's helping him and tying his little bonnet, is what we call that little hat thing. Good points. Maybe they will be friends, so take that into consideration. I have to pause us because I have to keep us going. But we will take a lot of time to think about this girl. Do not forget her because she is actually what we're going to use to talk about our full lesson. Now, eyes on me. We have our lesson goals, so thinking about what we're going to actually be doing, you guys already started it. My first goal, I can make and confirm predictions from a read aloud using details. You guys started to make those predictions about what our chapter might be about, right? You guys are going to continue by looking at something called point of view. Called? Point of view. Our goal is to be able to rewrite something. We are going to what something? Rewrite something. And when we rewrite something, we're doing it from something called third person to first person. So repeat after me because this one's a little important. I can rewrite a passage changing it from third person to first person point of view. Have you heard that word point of view before? Alicia, what do you think? Because Alicia says she has.
Point of view is like kind of like the side of your eye.
Ah, you might be thinking of something we call perception, right? When we might see things even though you're not looking directly at them. Right? It has to do with your vision and what you see. Tell me more, Kath. Ah, and notice how Kath used that exact word, right? What someone sees. Hold on to that because this is our most important goal for the day, right? How can we look for points of view? And how can we determine if our characters have first person point of view or third person point of view? We'll talk more about it in a bit. But before we do that, also thinking about our ELE goals, right? Repeat after me. I can. Ask and answer. Questions. To demonstrate. Understanding. Of a text using. Text evidence. Right? You guys have been doing this already and a pretty good job at doing it. Can you answer those questions? Are you able to tell me exactly how you know? For example, how Marisol shared that she thinks that little girl will be friends with Toad just based on the items that she saw, right? But let's go ahead, let's get on into our vocab. I want you to take the next 2 minutes. Try to talk to a partner. Go over all of our words. What do you think that they possibly mean? Go ahead, do that chatting. You tell me one of them. Patel. Omar first. My 2 minutes is starting. I'm coming around to look.
got you.
Nubian home. I'm going to do that to him. Gracias, go. Gracias. You have about 50 seconds. Did you guys already have a chance to chat about them? Yeah, no, all in his face, I heard.
Why did you just copy this?
And boys, why are we in the wrong chairs? That is an automatic -10 every time I see it with no permission. That is what's going to happen. Have you heard the stop word stress? What about a judge? See if you can toss and repeat. And that is my time. Let's go ahead. Coming back in 5. Coming back in 4. Coming back in 3. In 2. In 1. Points where you need to be looking. Scanning. Go ahead since I don't have him coming back in. I have this first one. I need a friend to go ahead and read it for me and tell me what they think it might mean. Go ahead, start us off. Let's hear from Kendra. Ah, is it just any person? Can I dress up as myself? You dress up as some random person. Why would someone do that? If you have a disguise and you're dressing up as a why would I do that? If I have disguise, I'm dressing up as someone else. Why would I choose to do that? Go ahead, tell me it, Etsy.
You might want to do it for fun, or you're ready someone you have to disguise.
You might want to do it for fun, or it might mean that you're in some kind of trouble,
It's like Halloween.
right? Go ahead, I need number 2. Number 2, help me out, Andy. We have distress. What does distress possibly mean?
I know that. Wait, say it?
Yeah, share it out. What do you think? What does distress possibly mean then?
That means you're tired.
You might be really tired, you might be stressed out, you might be in pain, right? When someone is showing key signs of distress, they're not in a good spot, right? They usually have some kind of emotional pain, or their bodies might be in distress. They're sad, it hurts. Go ahead, help me out with number 3. I have number 3, help me out, Omar.
Dungeon.
We have dungeon. What is a dungeon, Omar?
Like, in the castle, there's dungeons, and they put them in there when they don't like listen.
Yeah, what's that kind of like? Where do you go when you don't listen as a grown-up? Oh. Where do you go when you don't listen as a grown-up? Go ahead, tell me, Alexis.
Jail, and if you're a kid, you can go to the timeout.
That's true, right?
Or kid jail.
That is true. Eyes on me. Eyes on me. Right? Just like timeout, just like big person jail, just like juvenile. Oh,
If you're over 4.
waiting on you. Right? If you're someone that's in trouble, you are going to a jail. A dungeon is another form of a jail, just like Omar shared. It's usually in a castle and underground, right? They're located in places with very wealthy or, important people. But go ahead, I'm coming to the second to last one. I need a friend. What does it say? What does it mean? What does it say? What does it mean? Go ahead, Marisol. What do you think particularly might mean? This one's a little tricky. Andy here to the bathroom next. Henry after Andy.
I know if I know how to explain.
That's okay, because this one's a little tricky. Go ahead, Emily, help her out.
Particular means like something that you have a twin, but they're not like a twin, but they're particularly like something that looks like you know, something next to them looks like really juicy.
Mm-hmm.
The other one's very juicy, but it really isn't. It looks, but they both seem the same color, but they're really not the same.
You're getting on to the points, Emily, but just to make sure it's a little clear, right? When we use this word particularly, it's used to describe certain things, and it's typically said to be exceptionally or very much of something. For example, Emily's apple idea. This apple is particularly juicy, right? It's very juicy. Oh, go ahead and pause that because you already know about sounds are quite distracting. If you have water bottles, please make sure they're on the ground so they are also not a distraction. I'll give you 10 seconds to make that change.
Finish it and put
And
in your
10,
best.
9, 8, throw it away. 7, 6, 5, throw it away. 4, 3, 2, you'll be after Henry. I'll take it. Take a seat. You remember, Victor? Go ahead to Kendra. That is your new chair. Anyway, eyes on me. Alicia. Like I was saying, when you use that word particular, it just means very. You guys are particularly fun students, right? For the most part, you have a good time. You guys are particularly, I'm like, well, today you guys are particularly quiet. You normally are very loud, but you're fairly relaxed right now, right? We use it to describe things. And this one is our most important one. Go ahead. This one is our most important one. Go ahead, help me out, Emily. And you've got it. Always break them down. You're almost there. And now we need to figure out if we have an S and we have a magic E, or excuse me, we have the same sound as our double O. Very close. We have pursue. We have? We have? To pursue is going to be our most important word today. What does it mean to pursue? Right? The cops pursued the man on foot. Pursued. The mother pursued her baby in the market. Pursued. Go ahead, Alexia. I'll give you 5 more thinking seconds. In 5, 4.
Give.
Say that one more time, Alexia. Not to give someone something. Go ahead, help me out, Pinanimo. To approach? Close, but not quite there yet. We are approaching someone, but there's a certain way we're approaching them. You'll be after you say yes. There's a long line. Go ahead, I'm coming to Kath. Well, people usually get pursued when they are in trouble, but go back towards what Hieronimo is mentioning, right? To approach someone is getting there. They approach them when they are in trouble. But what does the actual action of pursue mean? Go ahead, Emmanuel. To bring someone something or to? Not quite. Not quite. If I have pursue, right, the cops are pursuing their victim or their person that they think is in trouble, right? Do you think that the person who's in trouble is gonna go willingly? Are they just gonna say, yes, cops, come to me? Are they gonna do that?
No.
Probably not, right? So if I'm pursuing the bad guy, what does that mean I'm doing to them?
Tracy?
Oh, what does that mean that I'm doing to them? Go ahead, help me out, Andy. We are chasing them. When you pursue someone, you are chasing them. So what does that tell us about Toad today? Turn and tell your partner. If pursue is our most important word, what does that tell us about Toad today? And 15. 14. 13. What's going to happen? How are we going to connect those words? Make sure we're still taking the opportunity, Marisol and Omar. Oh, starting to make those connections. Good, Alexander. In 5. In 4. 3. 2. 1. Eyes on me. I really love how some of you guys were looking at other words and determining what you were actually seeing in that very first picture, right? I'm not going to have you tell them right now because I want to see if other people will have those same recollections. But before we start, just like I mentioned, point of view is the important thing of the story. I want to go ahead and take some time before we get in talking about narrator and point of view because they are connected. They are
Connected.
We have our narrator. We have our
Narrator.
What is a narrator? What is a narrator? Turn and tell your partner first. Work through it together. What do you think is a narrator first?
A narrator.
What do you guys think? And Maria, you can go first. If Derek's having a pulse, I know he started, but if you see he's stuck a little bit, what can it be? Kendra, Victor, what is a narrator? Oh, did he tell you? Did he explain back what you shared? Because that means that Victor might not understand. So if he can't tell you what you shared, then that means he has to hear it again. Double check with him. Start thinking about it. Where have you seen narrating before? If you have jotted about it, put it away. Good opportunity. Oh, so who can you ask? She knows a lot.
It's 500. No, 600, 700. You counted it wrong.
That sounds more like my own. But I want to hear about that narrator. Alexia, I know that he's not here, but that means that when we have no partner, we scoot on over. Because talking about it's not going to get us going. Because can we share what a narrator is? So what do you need to do? Go ahead and move, because you have 30 seconds to figure that out, girlie. You're getting very, very close there, Andy. Go ahead. Some of you guys are getting quite close to get in. Or it's going to be mine. Now we throw it away. Good. You got to store it in. I'm going to have to complicate it. In 5. Coming back in 4. Coming back in 3. Coming back in 2. Coming back in 1. Points where you need to be looking. Beautiful job. I'm already seeing with red. Oh, almost all of red. And half of green. Still waiting on green. Now, narrator point of view, I will not lie, can be a little tricky. So it's okay if you're not sure or you don't know. That is fine. That's why we're here today. But what do you already know? What have you learned about narrative in the past? that might tell us what it is now. Alright? Go ahead, help me out. Let's start with, go ahead, Kendra, then I'll come to Omar. How about me? Ooh, which turn?
I think that it's like about a story about and like talking and talking about like characters, like making up a story.
Mm-hmm.
Like the river game.
Go ahead, I'm coming to Omar.
Like that, they're the one that's breaking the story.
What do you mean by breaking the story? Tell me more.
He's talking about like breaking the story.
Say that one more time.
Breaking the story.
Ah, keep that in mind because we will talk about theme as well. You said you already go to the restroom?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, you are next, Emmanuel. Go ahead, coming to Kathy.
Wait, isn't that
Oh, make sure that you're listening. Oh, she's still in there. It's okay. Mm-hmm. Ah, and what you see. Now, all of the things that you guys have been mentioning are really correct, right? When we think about the narrator, what I want you to think about is the voice the author uses to tell the story. Some of you guys, I told you, oh, you're thinking of the author who's writing the story, but our narrator is our voice. They are not in the story all the time because it depends on what kind of point of view our story is taking. If we hear our narrator a lot, that tells us about our point of view. Now, if our narrator tells us what we can see, right, the voice of our story, and we know that point of view is connected into what we actually can tell what is happening, I want us to now start to move on into the types of points of view that we have. Repeat after me. Point of view.
Point of view.
Who's talking?
Who's talking?
Point of view.
Point of view.
Who's talking?
Who's talking?
Whenever you think of point of view, right, you want to know who is talking. What is the perspective we're seeing? And we have 3 different types. We've got first person, second person, and third person. I want you to take the next 2 minutes, turn and talk to your partner. What are some things that you notice and see in this anchor chart? What is first person? What is second person? What is third person? Understood? Pause. What are we about to do? What are we about to do? Go ahead, tell me, Emily. Okay. How long do I have? Oh, for Emily. How long do I have? Okay, go ahead, turn the chat. 2 minutes are on. ask Alexia because she also knows. This is the first thing. Ask Alexia. Who else can you ask? Can we just sit there? Coat is off. Step it up, darling. That's not the one that was filmed. Tell me. If I look in the camera, eyes on me. Now, I gave you a couple. Hello. Is Maria here? Yes, Maria. That's the only one who's here, right? Okay, just Maria. We'll see you in a little bit, Maria. Oh yeah, the wind's a little intense. That's okay though. Anyway. Oh, go ahead and put that away. Eyes on me. Now, I gave you a couple minutes to go ahead and read through our first person, our second person, and our third person. I wanted to know, what do each of these stand for, Andy? Right? And what do we think of them? What is my first person? What does my first person point of view mean when I'm reading a story? Go ahead, start me off, Yeretsi, then I'm coming to Alexis.
The chapter is telling the story.
Not my chapter, but my character. When I have first person, the character in the story is telling the story from their point of view. It's like saying I'm inside of the story. If I was Mrs. Toad, I would use first person and I would talk about how I went on adventure, how me and my friends were able to do something, how we solved our problem. When we are in first person, the character that is telling you the story is actually in the story itself. Right? What about my second person? What is second person then? What is second person, Alexis?
It's like when you're talking about you and your friend.
Similar. When we have a second person, right, our narrator, that special word we talked about, will talk to the reader. So just like when you talk to your friend, you are speaking directly to them. Uh-oh. Second person is something that is very, very unique because it doesn't show up very often. When you think of second person, I want you to think of it as a letter. If I were to write to Yeretsi, right, I'm going to write to her, but I'm talking to her in the same way I would if I was talking to her face to face. The narrator is the one that's telling the reader the story. Right? And what about this third one? Because this is the big topic that are going to connect those two words, narrator and point of view. Right? What is our third person? Go ahead, Iker.
The third person is the one that the story is told by
Omar.
someone that is not in the story.
Good. Our third person is always told by someone that is not in our story, right? Our story is told by a special person that knows everything that is happening, but is not a character itself. If our person in third person is not in the story, who are they? What is their role? Right? A story is told by someone that is not in the story. How have we been listening to our story so far? What does that tell us? Who's telling us the story if they're not a character that's in it, if it's not us, right? Turn, tell your partner first. Let's see if you can think back. Okay, good. Turn, because wrong partner. To Iker. Who's that person that we did wrong?
No. Wait, no. Next is my partner. Person, I did the partner.
But remember about that voice.
Robbie partner and
Who creates or excuse me, you tell us what's happening in that story, but are not part of it.
I know. Oh, I did.
Oh, but producers are not books, they're movies. So not a producer. We talked about this word already. Oh, so who else?
I got the author and I made the author.
Make sure you guys are also speaking. What do you think might
It's
be
author.
telling our story?
Right? It's author.
We shall see.
I'm not
We have to
going
learn
to
those key words. We'll talk to Henry. Let's see. So guess Jonathan, go ahead. Make sure that we're talking Who's talking? You guys figure it out? Oh, but not my author. Because remember, who do we look at? Or excuse me, who tells us what might be happening? Oh, is our book in first person? Is it the characters that talk? Not. Oh, but what is that stranger? Oh, not a reader. Eyes on me. Eyes on me. Points where I need to be looking because I'm seeing some conversations that are still continuing. Emmanuel, speed it up. Now, I got a lot of good guesses, but not quite what I've been looking for, right? Our third person is really important because it comes up a lot and will be important for our story today. It tells us that the story is told by someone that is not in our story, right? This is not a character. This is not the person who wrote the story, right? We talked about this strange person that seems to know everything that's going to happen, but they're not actually experiencing any of those things, right? So, what were those brain juices getting towards? Who is that stranger? Who is actually telling our story whenever we get to that third person? Go ahead, help me out. Let's hear from Natalie. Oh, we are listening to Natalie. We are listening to
Natalie.
Alicia. Uh-oh. Go ahead, Natalie. Not the author. Because remember, this person isn't in the story, but they also didn't write it. Not necessarily. Because I could be the stranger, you could be the stranger, but we didn't write any of these books. Our author is a really good choice, but not quite, because it can't just be them. Right? Go ahead, I'm going to come to Kinanimo. Ooh, but what's our job for our illustrator? Who can remind me really quick, what does an illustrator do? To draw and paint the images in our book. So they have an important role, but not quite what we're looking for. Right? Who is that stranger? Who is that stranger? Help me out, Alexia. Say that one more time.
The narrator.
We have the narrator. Everyone,
I knew
ding,
it.
ding, ding, you got it.
You got it.
Ding, 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 you got it. We have our waterfall. Double checking and just stay sec. Let me do a scan. Make it back, Kendra. But beautiful job to my little corner, because I know it was a group effort, right? When we think our third person, I want you to think narrator. When we think third person, we think? Oh, try that again. I will wait for your full attention. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you, Marisol and Victor. Waiting on folks in red, I've got 3.
That is Alexis.
Waiting on folks on green, I've got 1. Right? When you think of third person, think narrator. Repeat after me. Third person.
Third person.
Narrator talking.
Narrator talking.
First person.
First person.
Characters talking.
Characters talking.
Now, do you see these words that are towards the bottom?
Yes.
These are really important because they automatically tell you what point of view your words are in. If you're seeing things like I, we, me, my, our, right? It's going to be in first person. If you see things like you, your, yours, second person, and of course, she, them, they, he, third person. When you guys are working on this later on today, we're going to come back to the same chart to look at how point of view can be used for our story to figure out what point of view we're actually even hearing in the first place. Go ahead to get water. Now, we've talked about theme already as well. Remember, what is this word? Who can read it for me really quick? Go ahead, tell me, Marisol.
Irresponsibility.
We have irresponsibility, and we talked about this theme before. Go ahead, turn and talk to your partner. What does irresponsibility mean? Tell him first. Jonathan, that laser is going to be taken away. I know. Someone's vision. So don't be turning it on. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Eyes on me. Eyes on me. Thank you. Ike, you're waiting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Henry. Go ahead, help me out. I have. Oh, she's in speech. I have a super hand. What does irresponsibility possibly mean? What is irresponsibility? Go ahead, help me out, Gracia. What does it mean to be irresponsible? A little bit louder. When you are responsible for your stuff? Wait, yes or no? No, right? You don't take good care of things of yourself, right? What else? Oh. Reminder about those expectations. Please make sure you're respecting our community by raising your hand and taking turns. Go ahead. Let's hear from Kendra next. And I love that Kendra just did a really good job. Uh-oh. Make sure you know where your turn to. Make sure you know where you're facing and your voice level. That's fine. But I love that Kendra already just fulfilled one of our goals, right? Remember, as we think about these things, we always want to attach it to something we've seen in the book. We know that a certain character is irresponsible. Whisper that character's name into your hands. If you're listening close to Kendra, you already know. Who is that character that is known for being irresponsible? Whisper, 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 shout it out. Toad! You know Toad is irresponsible, right? That is not new to us. We've also got a reminder of all the things we currently know about him. So take a quick look. Right, as I point, I'm going to read through some of the things you guys have said in the past and some of the things we've mentioned in our book. Let's start with the blue words. Let's start with the blue words. Our blue words are, in here, I guess I'll put it up there. Maybe it's a little bit easier for everyone to see.
Why are you ripping it? She ripped it, huh?
What age are you supposed to watch Family Guy? 21.
How much kids do you have?
I know. I was over 50 to watch it.
Eyes on me. Eyes on me. Let's think of our blue words first. Our blue words are used to describe things. Our blue words are oh, it looks like I'm going to go ahead and have to double that time you already owed me as I was counting. I'm going to take 30 seconds from the minute you owe me. Understood? I need you to stay together. Bye-bye. Now, repeat after me. Reckless. Irresponsible. Conceited. Tricky. Clever. Turn and tell your partner, what are some of the pink examples on our anchor chart as well as examples you still? Uh-oh. Did I say go yet? No. So what are you supposed to be doing?
Listen to your instructions.
Okay, so just listen. In the next couple of minutes, I want you to review the words that are in pink with your partner. Right? What are some of those examples that show Toad has been really irresponsible? If you know more examples, also share them with your partner. Go ahead. How has Toad been irresponsible? Time running.
We got it. No. Because they got in a car crash and Toad did a manner and Rat and Toad, no, and Rat and Mole. And then he took the police station and then Toad was like, no, it's okay. By stealing the car.
from some great thinking, but I want to ask you. I will hear from 3 people at first. I will hear from 3 people. Okay. All right. What are some examples from our story that prove that Mr. Toad, well, he is a dear friend to our Willows, right, our neighborhood, he tends to be a little bit irresponsible, right? Tell me one example. Go ahead, Isaias first.
He quit many jobs, and he quit the job. You know why? Because maybe he just sees a lot of money, and then he's like, "Oh, I don't want to work here anymore."
Right? He usually makes a lot of money, but he doesn't stay with jobs very often. He's known for quitting. Maybe he's thinking, I've got my money, why am I going to keep going? Right? That's a choice that not a lot of grown-ups would make. Why shouldn't you quit, Isaias? Why is it not good to be saying, oh, I don't want to do it anymore?
Because that'll be bad, and dad and mom will tell him, "Hey, don't get your job. Just stay at one job and then work and don't waste your money on things that you don't need."
Keep me going. How else is he irresponsible? Go ahead, Gerardo.
He steals a car.
Oh, he stole a car. Right? If you guys are remembering our chapter that we just finished before we went on break, do you think that's the best choice? No, right? If you steal a car, if I steal a car, if Mr. Perez steals a car, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Right? Eyes on me.
Eyes on you.
Gerardo, tell me more. Why do you think that's going to prove irresponsibility? What could happen if we do those actions and we're taking things that do not belong to us?
We might go to prison like a long time.
And keep that mention or that topic of prison in mind, because I've got one more prediction we will make. Go ahead, Marisol. Oh, hold on before we start. Make sure we are tracking Marisol, because I see a lot of friends doing things we don't need. That is mine. Go put it on my desk. Go ahead, Marisol.
If you take someone's car, they could sue you and you could pay a lot. You have to pay a lot of money.
Oh, so you've been building on top of why it's such an irresponsible thing to do. All of those things add up. You're going to get in trouble and you're not going to like the consequences that come with it. Right? Eyes on me.
Eyes on you.
Keep that in mind. For my hands that are still up, I have a feeling that it has to do with this question. So going back to what Gerardo and Marisol shared, right? We know Toad is really irresponsible because he stole a car. That is one of the bigger things. And from both of them, they mentioned that it's going to affect his future, right? We know it's bad because it leads to things like jail time in our life, in our world, and poor choices, plus the people that are affected. So, you guys say he will go to jail. How did our chapter end last time? I need someone to remind us all. How did our chapter end last time? Go ahead, Gracia. But while he did steal that car, what had happened? Because he did get pursued, right? To use that vocab word, he was pursued. What happened? Tell me more, Jonathan.
He went to court.
He got caught and he went to court. Do you remember what the judge told him? Do you remember what the judge told him? Because Jonathan's right on it. He went to court and he saw that big judge right looking over him. He said what? Go ahead, let me know. Let's come to Dominic. That he's going to have 20 years in prison. Eyes on me. Oh. So take note. Points where you need to be looking. I know a lot of us are wondering about that prison statement, right? So I have this question. So I have this question for you, Kendra. Now Toad, right, is in court. The judge just gave him that sentence, and lots of the time last week, you guys were either saying, no, he needs more time, or no, or the week before, or no, he doesn't need more time. Figuring out reasons on why you think he deserves that, thinking that will help him learn his lesson, or if maybe he won't learn his lesson. I want to finish that prediction before we start. Do you think that these 20 years of prison is going to help Toad change his ways? Or do you think that he's just going to continue to make irresponsible choices? Turn and talk to your partner. Let's make that prediction before we get into the reading. What do you guys think? Oh, maybe. Do you think he'll learn his lesson then? Oh, so explain why. Why do you think he's going to? Hold on. Maybe, but go ahead, Alexia. I want to hear your why. Well, think about those vocab words. What have we talked about that goes to point that picture, right? You said he was hiding. You have a good point, Alexia. Think of your why. Huh? I think someone picked it up already. Find one in another bag. All those wrapped up in that line. What do you guys think? Yeah, keep it in mind what you say, right? What did Matthew tell you?
I can't tell you
Yeah. Oh, very, very good. Eyes on me. Waiting, you want to hear this announcement? In 5, in 4, in 3. Eyes on me. Make sure they stay. Right? Really, really great job using what we've already kind of gone over to start thinking about what's going to happen with these predictions. I was very impressed with some of the things that I heard that I think I will go ahead and I will give us a second star. Now, before we get on into it, I want you guys, I'm going to actually write down some of these predictions on a new anchor chart so that way we can go back to them and we can confirm, hey, that did happen, I was right on the money, or maybe I missed a couple of details that made me lose sight. Alright? What? Oh yeah, sure. Eyes on me. Do you guys know how to circle clap? When you clap in a circle? Can you circle clap? Let's congratulate our wonderful thinking. Take 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no, thank you. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waterfall. Oh, that was a low waterfall. Waterfall. There we go. Thank you, Rachel. It's not fun. But go ahead, Alexia, before I start getting those predictions. Or are you my first one to give me a prediction?
You writing my name wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Alexis down there. Eyes on me. Kendra, every time you turn around of that. Let's hear what you guys were talking about. We've had a lot of predictions, so I'll go ahead and I'll write
Predictions.
For chapter 9. Right, what did you and your partners think about our question? Do you think that Toad is going to be able to change his irresponsible ways? What's telling you that? Why do you think he will change? Or why do you think he might not? Right? What's giving you that information? Start me off, Geronimo. Ah, Geronimo's already linking it to vocab that we've already started to use. Do you remember us talking about disguise? Right, Geronimo's telling us, I don't think he's going to change his ways. He was wearing a disguise. Right, so I'll write the nose in blue. If we think it's a no, it will be in blue. If we think it's a yes, it will be in purple. Go ahead, tell me no, Emily. Or excuse me, tell me more, Emily.
I think he's not gonna because I think he is not
Why?
he is not gonna do it because he already saw what's gonna happen. If he does it again, he's just it's gonna keep on happening and he's gonna be like, this is starting to get boring, and he's just gonna stay there because if you keep on doing that, it can get you somewhere that you don't like.
Yeah. He won't want to stay in jail because he doesn't like to be bored, right? He won't want to stay in jail. We know Toad does not like to be held. That's fine. This is a won't. But either way, keep us going because that's not the first time he's been asked to stay somewhere and he's decided, I don't want to stay here, right? Thinking about what happened in our last chapter. Go ahead, tell me more. Let's hear from Marisol, then I'll come to Alexia, then I'll end with Alicia.
He's probably going to try to drive the police, or he's going to try to bail himself out, but then they won't let him because he won't go back.
He might try to bribe
Like I said.
the police because he's got that money, right? He might try to, what was the other one?
Bail himself out.
To bail himself out because he's also got the money.
What is that? I couldn't really say.
When you pay bail,
Like,
right, when you go to court, your judge can set a bail, which basically tells you you don't have to sleep in prison. Because when you get arrested, you stay in a special cell that isn't in the actual prison, but it's a holding cell. So you hold yourself there. If you pay bail, then you get to wait at your house for your time.
Or they put something here.
Yep, but that is for a different kind of thing. But anyway, go ahead. Who is next on my list? I had Marisol. Go ahead, Alexia.
He is going to be responsible.
Oh, who are we listening to right now? Go ahead, Alexia.
He is going to be responsible because in the picture he was happy and there was a little girl.
Ah, so maybe other people are going to help him be that way. He will be responsible. Maybe it's that little girl. She might be a good influence, right? New characters are good role models. And ending with Alicia.
And probably when they
Oh, we're listening to Alicia. We are listening to. Go ahead, Alicia. Right. He looked like he was working with that little girl. Maybe her goodness has rubbed off on him and he's actually made it out of jail already. Keep all of those things in mind, right? Pay close attention to our points of view. What words do you hear coming up? Is our point of view, Derek, Maria, and Isaias, more towards I, we, us? Or is it more towards they, he, she, them? We'll talk about it more afterwards. Think about Mr. Toad and if he's changing, because towards the end, we'll look at all of these predictions and see if he did those things. And of course, always keeping that theme in mind, which we already do a pretty good job at doing. So take a quick look. And I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm not showing you the picture cards this time around, because I want it to be very much a surprise on what is happening. So let's take a quick look. Y'all ready? Marisol, can you get the light for us? Pull it down, probably. Not appropriate. Go ahead, Jonathan. As we are listening, this is a great opportunity to earn a class star. It is something that we all need to do and that we all need to engage in. So if you want to help our class, make sure that you have all distractions away. You know where pencils, water bottles, cups, papers, and whatnot should be. And we can work as a team to get the next star. Jonathan, I said you can go, but hurry back so you don't miss too much. Why are we saying? Come around. Alexia, speed it up so you don't waste too much watching time. If you're throwing something away, are you throwing that away? Oh, okay. So take a seat so that you're standing up.
Listening to the next chapter in The Wind in the Willows, entitled Toad's Adventures. When Toad found himself in a dark dungeon, he flung himself on the floor and cried, "This is the end of everything," he said. Imagine Toad in prison for stealing a motor car and for luring cheek. Stupid animal that I was, reproached himself. With lamentations such as these, he passed his days refusing to eat his meals. Now the jailer had a daughter who assisted her father. The jailer's daughter was particularly fond of animals. This kind-hearted girl said to her father one day, "Father, if you will let me look after Toad, I'll make sure that he eats." Her father replied that she could do whatever she liked with him. He was tired of Toad. So that day she knocked at the door of Toad's cell. "Now cheer up, Toad," she said, "and dry your eyes. Please do eat some dinner. See, I brought you some of mine." It was Bubble and Squeak, and its fragrance reached the nose of Toad, but he stubbornly refused to eat it. Instead, Toad wailed and would not be comforted, so the wise girl retired for a time. Boys and Girls Bubble and Squeak is a traditional English dish made of leftover vegetables, in which the main ingredients are potato and cabbage. It's often eaten with roast, and its name comes from the sound the food makes as it cooks.
Alright, so as you guys were hearing, we had Toad, and they're having a problem with it. What is Toad saying he doesn't want to do? What is Toad saying he doesn't want to do? Go ahead, Allison. He said that he wouldn't eat, but then a jailer's daughter comes in and she tells her father, "Hey Dad, I can make sure that Toad is eating," and she's giving him this. Right? This is a food from England called Bubble and Squeak. Right? Yeah, and it's called that because it usually makes that sound when it's cooking. So it bubbles and it's as it starts to cook. Right? It's made of potatoes and meat and cheese. Kind of like a little, maybe like a quesadilla, but it's all one thing. Like an omelet, maybe.
It looks like a special lasagna.
Yeah, kind of like a lasagna as well. But they're trying to get him to eat this. No, that's why I haven't said yes. There's a line. You need to wait. Okay? So keep an account with that. Also keep an account who's trying to feed him. There is a line. You need to wait. You guys. A line. You need to wait. I'll let you know. A line. You need to wait. But go ahead, I'm coming to Alexia first.
So, I think that is a different kind of pizza because that's kind of like pizza.
Not quite a pizza, because it is called Bubble and Squeak, and it's a potato dish. It just kind of looks like it because it has cheese on it.
And it's getting me hungry.
Okay, it's almost done. Go ahead, Alexis. Oh, I can't hear Alexis. Bye-bye, Star. Oh, so you need to better make sure that you're listening, because it's going to disappear very quick. Right now, we are not being the best classroom community, which means we don't need a community star. Is that understood? Who are we listening to right now? Go ahead, Alexis. So keep in mind, if currently Toad is in a dungeon, what does that mean about his sentence? We could already decide one of our predictions and confirm what happens. If he's in a dungeon, like Alexis said, what can we confirm about one of the predictions we made? Go ahead, Yedetzi. Keep that up. Take another listen.
When the girl returned some hours later, she carried a tray with a cup of fragrant tea steaming on it, and a plate piled up with hot buttered toast. Toad sat up, dried his eyes, sipped his tea, and munched his toast. Before long, he began talking freely. The jailer's daughter saw that this social interaction was doing Toad as much good as the tea. "Tell me about Toad Hall," said the girl. "Toad Hall," said the Toad proudly, "is a gentleman's residence dating from the 14th century. It is 5 minutes from the church, the post office, and the golf course. It's suitable for..." "Oh, gracious me," said the girl, laughing. "I don't want to buy it. Tell me something real about it. But first wait till I fetch you some more tea and toast." She skipped away and presently returned with a fresh trayful. And Toad, munching on another piece of buttered toast, told her all about Toad Hall. They had many interesting talks together after that, and the jailer's daughter grew quite fond of Toad. One morning, the girl spoke to him.
What does that mean when the author says the jailer's daughter, right? Which is our friend right here. She is the daughter of the person who owns the jail, the jailer's daughter. What does it mean when the narrator says the jailer's daughter is very fond of Toad? After speaking with him and hanging out, she is now very fond of him and thinks he's quite silly and goofy. What does it mean to be fond of someone? Go ahead, let me know. Let's hear from Kendra. Fond. What does it mean to be very fond of something? For example, Miss Stackhouse is very fond of her students.
Very proud.
Take this opportunity. Everyone turn and talk. Tell your neighbor.
Talk about what?
The jailer's daughter is very fond of Toad. She thinks he's very silly and fun to be around. Miss Stackhouse is very fond of her students, especially when she is in a good mood. Children are very fond of Miss Stackhouse is very fond of hugs. Children are fond of summer because there is no school. What does it mean to be fond of something? We're not shining it. nice to someone, she's doing the things to make you feel better, she's talking. Not necessarily when, you know, go. You can go. Eyes on me. What does it mean to be very fond? Oh wait. Make sure you're sitting like a third grader.
Okay.
Just thoughts. Go ahead. What do we think it means to be fond of someone? Our jailer's daughter is fond of Toad. Notice both of their expressions, right? The conversations that they're having. Go ahead, help me out. Let's hear from, go ahead, Emily. What do you think it might mean? She's fond of him now.
I think it's like excited, and he's like they're very excited, and they're having friendship together, and they're excited.
Maybe excited. I do want to hone in on that word friendship that Emily used, because normally we are very fond of the people we have good friendships with. Right? You guys know Miss Chavez is one of my best teacher friends. I'm very fond of Miss Chavez because she helps me in a lot of ways. Right? So if we know our jailer's daughter is starting to become very fond of Toad, start to think of how that previous picture might start to be making sense, because Emily's example of friendship is really good. Go ahead, continue on, Gracia. What does that word fond really hone in on?
Very kind.
Not very kind, but what about kindness do I guess, enjoy? Right? We're like right on the nail. Okay, to be fond. Help me out, I'll have my last one, Andy. Fond. No, not fun. Not quite. I'm gonna come to Alicia. You're at last hand, I think.
Interested and lovable.
Good. And I want to hone in on that she said, full of love. Loveful, not quite our full word, but I want to hone in on loving something. Right? When you are fond of something, you love it. You really, really like having it around. For example, your friendships. Notice how she's pretty happy with him. She doesn't see him as a criminal. She is now fond of him. Remind me, what does it mean to be fond of something? To make sure you don't forget. Because I'm going to ask you now, and I'm going to ask you later too. Go ahead, Gracia.
Love.
To love something. To be fond means to
Love.
take another listen.
An exceptionally thoughtful man. Toad, she
Fond
said,
of my grapes,
I
right?
need you to listen carefully.
Listen, because it's
I have an
important.
aunt who is a washerwoman. Now, boys and girls, what do you think a washerwoman does? Well, a washerwoman's job is to wash laundry. There, said the toad kindly. Never mind, don't be embarrassed. I have several aunts who ought to be washerwomen. It's all right. Do be quiet, Toad, said the girl. As I said, I have an aunt who is a washerwoman. She does the wash for all of the prisoners. If you were to offer her some money, I believe she would let you have her dress and bonnet, and you could escape from here in a disguise. You're very alike in many respects, particularly about the figure. Boys and girls, in other words, the jailer's daughter thinks that Toad looks like her washerwoman. We're not, said the Toad in a huff. Toad, I am trying to help you, explained the girl. Yes, I see. Thank you very much, said the bird. But you wouldn't surely have Mr. Toad going about disguised as a washerwoman. Well, I suppose you want to escape in a horse-drawn carriage, the girl retorted. Toad began to see the error of his ways. You are a kind girl, he said. Please introduce me to your aunt. I am sure we can come to a mutually agreeable arrangement. Next evening, the girl ushered her aunt Toad's cell. The sight of certain gold coins sealed the deal. In return for the coins, Toad received a cotton print dress, an apron, a shawl, and a black bonnet. The only stipulation the old lady made was that she should be gagged and bound and placed in the corner of Toad's cell. This way, she hoped to escape suspicion that she had helped Toad escape by making it look like she had been attacked. Toad was more than willing to oblige, and when the time came, he tied her up with great gusto. "Now it's your turn, Toad," said the girl. "Take off that coat and waistcoat of yours." When the girl returned, shaking with laughter, she helped him into the dress. "You're the very image of her," she giggled. "Now, good luck, Toad." The quaking heart of Toad set forth cautiously. He was surprised to find that the washerwoman's hot figure, in its familiar cotton dress, opened every barn door, including the one that opened out onto the outside world.
Turn and tell your neighbor what just happened. What just happened?
I know. I know.
Ah, yes, the hand washing.
The girl got him out and this guy
But in this one, she gave her
ready to go up that.
normally it is family person.
Where can I be this inside?
There's a certain person that is sorry. They said you are just like someone, which I'll blank out.
You never told me. You never told me for a second.
So, as Toad started to change his ways, how are predictions going?
What's wrong with this? They go naughty, naughty boys.
What did he just do? How's he trying to get out? What's his plan? How did they make sure that the crime wasn't going to be traced back to her?
That's what I know.
How will they know that the daughter and the aunt will help him? Think about those details. What do they say? Not right now. You guys are getting too warm, some of you. In 10, 9, when we're gonna leave to recess, then yes.
10 minutes.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Eyes on me. What just happened? What just happened? Start me off, Alexander. They disguised Toad as someone else. He looks like an old grandma. Like, uh-oh. Remember our discussion about earlier and us following those community boundaries so we can all be learning and discussing. Okay? Alexander just shared he's disguised and he's dressed as an old woman. Who is he supposed to be looking like? Because our jailer's daughter was saying, I can make you look exactly like someone else. Go ahead, help me out. Let's hear from... Go ahead, Andy.
You were about it?
Yeah, he's dressed as her washerwoman, right? The aunt of our girl who's our washerwoman. Now, thinking about what he's doing, how is this helping our predictions? Because remember, we're trying to think about, is he going to change his old ways and become more responsible? Or, from his point of view, things are always going to be irresponsibility after irresponsibility. Right? Give me a thumbs up. changing his ways, he's gonna be a better person? Or give me a thumbs down. So far, our predictions are telling us, oh, he seems pretty irresponsible still. You can give me a maybe if you need more proof. Right? Thumbs up if you agree he is changing. A middle, I'm not sure quite yet. A thumbs down. Oh, he is still making poor choices. Taking a quick roundabout, waiting on two people on Yerexi's side. You gotta pick one or the other. But I'm seeing quite a few thumbs down. Remember that they can change. Get a tissue.
And you're close.
Oh, you had these four. But go ahead, take a listen.
Toad's disguise worked, and everyone laughed.
Is it an emergency to be getting up? Go. Are you ready?
Yes.
Alexis is. Thank you, Alexis. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go ahead.
The washerwoman, or really Toad dressed as the washerwoman, threw all of the gates and doors into the outside world. Toad immediately walked toward the nearest town. As he walked along, he spotted some red and green lights a little way off, and the sound of the puffing of engines. Aha! He thought, a railway station. He made his way to the station and found that a train, bound more or less in the direction of his home, was due to leave. More luck, he said, as he went off to buy himself a ticket. He gave the name of the station that he knew to be nearest to Toad Hall and mechanically reached into his waistcoat pocket for his money. But here the cotton gown thwarted his efforts, as a line began to form behind him of other people trying to buy tickets. The Toad slowly began to realize that not only was there no waistcoat in the gown, but he had forgotten his money back in his jail cell. Forgetting his disguise, the Toad commanded attention of the clerk. I am Toad of Toad Hall. I've left my money behind. Give me a ticket, and I'll send the money on tomorrow. The clerk ignored Toad's request. Stand away from the window, please, madam, the clerk ordered. Other people want to get by. Full of despair, he wandered blindly down the platform. What? As he pondered, he found himself opposite the engine, which was being tended to by its driver. Hello, madam, said the engine driver. What's the trouble? Oh, sir, said the Toad, crying afresh. I am a poor washerwoman, and I've lost my money and can't pay for a ticket. That's about.
Now, did you notice the difference between how Toad approached the first ticketing counter and how he's now approaching the driver? Think of the differences that you're noticing. Take a listen.
Me, said the engine driver, lost your money and can't get home. And I bet you've got some kids too waiting for you, I dare say. Any amount of them, sobbed the Toad.
Toad have kids.
They'll be hungry and playing with matches.
Keep listening.
Boys and girls, why do you think Toad said that?
Because trying to
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, said the engine driver. If you'll wash some shirts for me, when I get home and send them along, I'll give you a ride in my engine. Toad agreed and scrambled up into the cab of the engine. Of course, he had never washed a shirt in his life, so he didn't intend on doing what he said for the engine driver. The guard waved his flag and the engine driver whistled, and the train moved out of the station. They had covered many a mile when Toad noticed that the engine driver was leaning over the side of the engine. Then he saw him climb onto the coals and gaze out over the top of the train. Then he returned and said to Toad, "It's very strange. We're the last train running this direction tonight, yet I'm sure I heard another another following us. Toad became alarmed. By this time, the moon was shining bright, and the engine driver, steadying himself on the coal, could see more clearly the line behind him. Presently, he called out, "I can see it now! It's an engine coming along at a great pace. It
Who's
looks
following
as
them?
if we're being pursued."
You shout it out.
The miserable Toad crouched.
What do you think is following them?
The engine is crowded with policemen and the strangest lot of people, all shout,
Policeman is shut.
"Stop!" At that moment, Toad fell.
Ready, Soul? Can you get the lights? How about eyes on me? Thank you, Henry. Eyes on me. Now you guys see how cold and nasty it is outside, so that reminder that you guys will have indoor recess and lunch. It is lunch right now. Looks like Miss Bays is here to go. And it looks like Miss Bays is here to be taking care of you guys. I'm assuming it will be Coach Vegeta for your guys' like recess part. The same things that we're normally used to be able to do. We have permission to do using my board. My ask is you do not erase my names. You do not move my posters. If the grown-up that's in here moves them, that is fine, but I do not want you moving them because they tear very easily. Understood? Oh, I don't know if my community is following my community guidelines right now. Because people are trying to get things done and I have people messing around when it's not quite time yet. Is that understood, boys? Go ahead, finish up what you're saying. Omar, what did you want to hear? Well, let them know as well. But like I said, the names, keep them on the board. Miss Bays is here and she hears me, so I doubt she will erase it too. All the other things are up there, like I think there's like a 28 or something. Oh, nope, I erased it. There's nothing else up there. So keep my names, keep my posters here unless they grown up moves them, and that's it. No, well, either way, it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead. Let's do blue first. You're close. I gotta go, you guys. Huh? I'll take it off. I'm gonna take my computer off. Is that the one that Alexis had shown me? Come on, Maria. Come on, yellow and red. Hop in line. If you have your phone, take the time. Oh, yes. Go ahead and put the board. I'm a little sorry about that.